They called him the Ghost King of the Rain, the kind of man a city invents when it's tired of saints. He never kept a name long, they slid off like wet paint. What stuck were habits, a ticking watch, a gold lighter, a revolver that slept like a faithful dog. He moved through puddles as if the street belonged to him, and on nights like this, maybe it did. He didn't walk into rooms. Rooms walked into him. The door sighed, the lamp blinked, and the air changed key. Music dropped to a whisper. Money found its manners, and the roulette wheel slowed to listen. He signed with an X. No flourish, no pretense. Power doesn't waste ink. Loyalty stood behind him like curtains, heavy and soundproof. The papers gave him a crown made of fog. Mystery boss rules the rain. Flashbulbs chased his shadow, but never caught more than a jawline. If a photograph ever did, fire took care of the evidence. He trusted the lighter more than he ever trusted prayer. Back rooms were his kingdom. One swaying bulb, 3 chairs, a silence that could bruise. He spoke little, smiled less. Promises traveled across the table like cigarettes, borrowed, lit, and forgotten. The table kept the truth to itself. Wood has good manners that way. He collected artifacts, the watch, the lighter, the gun. Together they were scripture. When faces turned on him, he burned them, photographs curling like paper tongues. Somewhere, under red light, a face floated up in chemicals, slow as guilt. Proof dripped silver. Time smirked. Lightning once wrote his name across the blinds, then erased it in the same breath. Mirrors tried to remember his reflection, but couldn't agree on the details. One friend blinked at the wrong second, and that second turned fatal. Glass shattered, wine bled. A single shell rolled to a stop. The city sighed and swallowed the echo. By dawn, the docks were slick with rumors. A briefcase sat empty, except for the ticking watch, loud in the quiet. The river looked innocent, but rivers always do. Headlines screamed his vanishing in wet, black thunder, and by noon the city acted like it had never heard his name. His office stayed faithful longer than anyone. The chair half turned, the lamp circling a coin of light, the revolver wrapped neat in oilcloth, like a secret too polite to confess. A portrait caught a glint of neon, flared gold for a second, then went out. He walked into fog so like a sentence missing its verb. The streets washed themselves in neon and lies. Somewhere, a radio whispered a goodbye to whoever wasn't sleeping. A nightclub stayed empty, except for one piano key that dropped like rain. Photos peeled from walls. Memory chose blur over pain. On his desk, hat, gun, lighter, and a note marked X. 3 relics, 1 confession. They found a grave that didn't need a name. A fedora on top, rain dripping from its brim, and an X carved deep enough to mean, don't ask. The wind did the talking. Nobody else dared. The last alley tapered into silence. A cigarette hissed out in a puddle, and for one heartbeat, the reflection held everything. Watch, gun, lighter, before smoothing itself to black. Morning reached for him, found nothing, and moved on. Schedules always beat grief in this town. He wasn't a monster. Monsters need applause. He was efficient. People loved him the way fog loves neon. Close enough to glow, never close enough to know. Every favor had a price. Every goodbye a receipt. The X he signed buried more than it named. The rain remembers. It remembers boots on boards, laughter behind smoke, and the sound a gun makes when it keeps a promise. It remembers a man who knew how to leave without disappearing, just enough to make the city doubt itself. So when they say he vanished, believe them. Vanishing was his craft. He left the watch ticking, the lighter dry, the chair turned slightly off-center, and the rain to keep score. Because some men don't die. They just change doorways. And this city, patient and sleepless, keeps them open.